Be honest, what was your latest impulse purchase that left you with guilt and thinking about why you spent that money in the first place? If you are impulse buying from time to time, chances are you are falling for one of these 7 marketing triggers that I'm about to share in this video. And spoiler alert, those are a very human, normal, regular desires, which is why it's so difficult for you to become aware of them, because they are just such inherent desires of our psyche. Why do I know all this? Because I am a marketer myself, and I'm also someone who is very much into conscious consumption and sees the overconsumption problem, especially on the internet and also here in the United States where I live. I see it as a big problem, and that is why my relationship to my job is kind of a hate-love relationship. I am no longer in consumer marketing, so I don't do any of the very aggressive, very psychological marketing for consumers. But in my career, I learned a lot of these triggers to facilitate my job, but I also noticed them on myself as a consumer when shopping, when looking for items online. And it made me really think, like, is there a marketer out there who is actually talking about this, who's actually telling consumers, hey, be aware of all these things so that you can take back control over your spending habits, over your consumption, and over your finances in the end. So I felt like there's not enough conversation about this topic. So in this video, you will discover the 7 spending triggers that marketers use to prey on you as a consumer, but more importantly, you will also learn how to take your power back and how to have these marketing tactics no longer influence your consumption habits as much. So let's dive right into the video. Number 1, peace of mind or convenience. Now those are things that in our modern world have become very normal for us, and we are very prone to spending when products or services promise us to make our life more convenient. So examples for this are Amazon one-day delivery or other food delivery services or stuff like Instacart. Also subscriptions. For example, Amazon also offers this, that you can subscribe to a certain product and then it gets resent to you and you don't even have to bother about hitting the buy now button, but you will get the product over and over again sent right to your home very conveniently. There are so many other examples for this. It can be good, of course. This can make your life easier, but also it can lead to unnecessary spending for sure. And automating your product purchases, in my opinion, if it's something that you always repurchase and that you have been buying a lot of in the past, it makes sense. But oftentimes I feel like those companies know exactly that you're doing this because you get the product at a little bit of a discount and then you just forget about your subscription. So this is a very sneaky way that marketers try to get you to impulse buy, because who does not want to have a convenient life, right? Number 2, health. You buy items that promise to make you feel better, that promise to be good for your health, mental health, physical health, doesn't really matter. A lot of companies that are in the health space know exactly how to prey on these desires of people. I, for example, am a very prime target right now for these marketers, and I see a lot of my Instagram ads and YouTube ads and a lot of things targeted towards me, because right now I am having some challenges with my health and it really sucks and I want to get better. So I am looking at different supplements and at different diets and all this stuff, and I have been buying a couple of things, a couple of supplements for my thyroid and other things, and I have changed my diet. But it's crazy the way these companies know exactly how to target you and how to kind of frame their marketing message to appeal to you. So if you are also looking to buy products in the health space, just be conscious that oftentimes the wording and the marketing around it is very much targeted so that you get these promises thrown at you that you will feel so much better, this changed my life, and then you will have all these product reviews. Some of them are not real. So you really have to be very careful and do your research before purchasing that and falling for health claims that might not be true. And this is, of course, a very human desire. I mean, who does not want to be healthy? I mean, that's actually, I think it's a human right. I mean, we should all be healthy or trying to be healthy. But it's also something that marketing people know exactly that you're vulnerable at that point, and they grab your attention and then they get you. Number 3 is love or validation. So this is a very tricky one because no one would really say, oh, I bought this because I wanted validation from my peers, right? You would not say, oh, I bought this designer bag because I wanted validation. I wanted to show that I'm successful. Of course, people would never admit that, but that is kind of the insidious thing and also the subconscious point about this desire. And a lot of companies know it and they do very subtle marketing on it, because no influencer will really say, hey, if you use this product, you will get so much validation from your peers. Well, sometimes they actually do. Like they say, ooh, I got so many comments on my hair, or I got so many compliments for my style or whatever. And that is also kind of a trigger for you, or like something that you can notice that is actually targeting towards this specific desire, because who wants compliments? Well, people who are looking for love and validation. And that's, of course, also a very human need. I don't say that it's weird to have that, absolutely not. I mean, that's so normal. But in order to have a good marketing campaign, of course, marketers also look at that and they assess these desires, and then they work their entire marketing campaign around this. So if you see influencers or marketing campaigns communicating something like that, or giving you the feeling of, oh, I could get validation from it, or I could belong, then that is very much that trigger being triggered in you. So examples can be status symbols in general, a nice watch, a nice bag, or the things that go viral at the moment. Oftentimes people will give you validation for it, or you think you get validation from it when you display that in the public. If we're talking bigger things, it could be a car, a nice house, you name it. All the big purchases also come into play in this category. Number 4, companionship. Companionship goes hand in hand with the desire that I mentioned before, love and validation, because we live in a society, right? And some of these desires are kind of linked between each other. We are social animals. We want to belong to our tribe. So our purchases also often reflect that. You want to feel connected, and that also makes you spend on group experiences or on products that help you fit into society or to a certain group that you think you belong to or you want to belong to, right? So for example, you buy that trendy water bottle because you see all the that girls or it girls using it. You buy all this fitness gear or all this running gear. I've been seeing a lot of runners having all these different outfits and like vests and glasses and hats and whatnot. So it feels like you need to have all these items to be a runner, or to be a fitness bro, or to be a that girl, or whatever your specific niche of consumption is. Very often the marketing around these items is targeted towards your desire to be a part of that community. And of course, these triggers are so subconscious. Just like I said for the love and validation one, not everyone will admit it, but that's what makes it so insidious and so difficult for yourself to spot it. And that's why you have to become very aware of your own thought process while browsing, while shopping, and also after shopping. Why did I purchase this, right? Kind of second guess yourself, but we'll get to this in just a second. When everyone is talking about this one product and you seem to not be part of it, that gives you the fear of missing out. You think you need this now to belong or to also participate in this conversation. And let me tell you, you don't. Because very often these products that are viral or people are talking about them at this point in time will be forgotten in a week. No one will be talking about them anymore, because we live in a hyper-consumerist, extremely fast world of micro-trends that will be out of style very soon. I think we can change fear of missing out to joy of missing out. I heard that term, I think on YouTube as well. It's not FOMO, but JOMO. And just embrace that joy of, yeah, I don't care what the new trend is right now. And I don't need to know. Number 5, money and time. Now, we all know that time is money in this capitalist society, and oftentimes you want to save money or save time. So products that offer these savings are of course very tempting. You look for convenience, you look for value for money, and so those quick fixes can be extra tempting. Examples for this can be 2-for-1 deals. Sometimes you don't need that specific thing twice, but just because you see it, oh, this has a 2-for-1 deal, or this is discounted, you will be more likely to spend on this specific item, and marketers know that. So that's why they do bundles or the different boxes with like a better value, but you don't even really need it. I see that a lot with beauty products, like the Sephora bundles that exist.
$146 worth of products for $65. 7 items, 4 of which are full size.
Oftentimes those products are not the ones that I want, but you still get so tempted because it's like, oh, this has a value of $150 of beauty products and it's just 50 or so. But think about if you really need all those things, or if it's just value for money being advertised to you. Number 6, safety. Now this is also a very human desire. Of course, we want to feel safe in our house, and examples for those products could be, for example, the Ring doorbell or other safety gadgets for around your house. But also a lot of safety gadgets are being targeted to women, for example, pepper sprays. I have a pepper spray. It's a very useful thing. It makes you feel really safe. But just think about the fact that this is a desire that is very human, very subconscious. So if brands target this exact desire, just be aware. It doesn't mean that these products are unnecessary, absolutely not. A lot of these products are very helpful, but just be aware that this is a desire that marketers can very easily prey on. The last desire is freedom. We want freedom of time, we want financial freedom, we want to be free, right? And a lot of brands and products know that, and so they will gear their communication around that or towards that topic. We long for independence, and products that make our life easier and ourselves freer catch our eye. I see a lot of ads that are in the vehicle space, so for example, cars, especially when they are more targeted towards men, I feel like they really go heavy on the freedom communication. It's not only the freedom to move around, but it's more like a lifestyle, right? This freedom trigger is also often used in marketing towards parents.
Hey, Mom!
Hey, Mom! Hey, Mom! Mom, I'm stuck again! Hey, Mom! Hey, Mom! It's mine! Hey, Mom!
Hey Google, call Mom.
Parents are very short on time and they want to kind of feel free from being a dad or a mom at some point, and companies know that, and then they target you with these specific ads triggering that exact desire that you have right now. But now, are you ready for some insider secrets and some tips on how to reclaim your spending habits? I hope so. Let's go. Tip number 1, embrace mindful shopping. Become hyper aware of yourself. All these triggers that I just mentioned before can be things that you second guess yourself in the process of buying things. Ask yourself, is this really a need, or is this just a passing desire? Or am I just being triggered right now by FOMO or by some influencer saying something in a very specific way that is triggering my sense of belonging or my wish for connection or wish for love and validation, right? We can always become aware and take a step back and think about, what is this doing with me right now? Also, make second guessing yourself in the process of purchasing and saying no to the thing a default. So for example, when I go to a certain place, sometimes I like to go thrifting, or I even like to go shopping sometimes, but I try to shop very intentionally, and the first thing that I will always say when I pick up an item and look at it is, no, I don't need this. And then I have to kind of talk myself into if I need this. And that is very difficult, because when you are a critical and conscious shopper, you will very easily notice that there's not a lot of things in favor of you getting that item, because maybe I already have something like this and I have not been wearing it as much. This is quite expensive. The material is not the best. Talking about clothes in this instance, right? So if you want to convince yourself to purchase something, it can be very, very difficult. And as a consequence, you don't purchase as much. That is really, really helpful for me personally. Next is set a waiting period. I like to wait at least a week or so. You can also do 24 hours. You can also do more depending on the price of the item. Sometimes it's not that easy, especially when I go thrifting, because at the thrift store, I know that once I put this thing back, it most likely will be gone next time I come in, right? So I have been having some experiences where I put something back, then I came to the thrift store a week later, and then it was gone. And then I was like, eh. But still, it was not something that I would have needed. It was just something that I liked. So even if I kind of missed that opportunity to purchase that item, it's not that terrible. I will find something else, and the thrift store is not going to disappear in the next couple days or weeks or months. So I'm fine, right? Sometimes this really helps to just stop us from buying impulsively. The next is use a budget filter. That is very helpful if you look, for example, let's stay with the clothes example, you look at an item in a store and you don't look at the price tag yet. And you just think about a price that you would be willing to pay for that item. And that's kind of your filter, right? You think, oh, this is a nice jacket, and maybe it's made out of leather, okay? So it will be expensive or more expensive. So you can say, okay, I'm willing to pay $200 for this. Or for something else, I'm willing to pay $10 for this. And if it's more expensive, then it's like, well, okay, then it's over the budget that I just set for myself, so I will put it away. It's not in the budget. Whereas when you see it and it's cheaper, or yeah, you kind of think about it even more, and it checks all those boxes, so it fits in your budget, you thought about it extensively, and you really need it, well then that's a good sign for you to actually purchase it, right? Next one is track emotional spending. So I'm not here to judge anyone because I'm also very self-critical with my consumption, so I don't want you to think that I'm perfect or that I am judging someone, that you have to have it all figured out and never impulse shop and never like shop emotionally, because that is very difficult, and we also live in a society that's it's not designed for conscious consumers. But tracking your emotional spending, writing it down, is really a powerful tool. I sometimes write things down that I didn't purchase on my notes app in my phone, because that is also something that keeps me accountable of all the things that I did not purchase and that I kind of saved money on, which is really nice. But you could also do this with emotional or impulse purchases that you had in the past, and just write them down and just kind of see if there is a hidden theme, right? Is it, for example, that you, after having a very rough day at work, you gravitate towards spending money at Target? Or when being bored at home on the weekend, is that when you go to Amazon? Just find those triggers. That information will help you so much on your journey to be more conscious. Also, if you already made an impulse purchase, it's always a possibility to return it. If it's something that you regret instantly because it was really just an impulse purchase and you notice very quickly that you don't need it, if it just arrives at your doorstep and you're like, why did I even purchase this? Return it. There is no shame in returning something that you're not using. Someone else might be able to use it. I know returns are not the most eco-friendly thing to do, but I also think it's just useless to have an item at home that will just sit somewhere and that will just remind you every day that you made an impulse purchase. So the last point is compare alternatives. When needing a product and looking into purchasing it, do your research. Compare pricing on other pages, compare different companies, compare their sustainability initiatives, compare all of these things, really go deep. I'm not saying that you need to spend hours and hours researching a specific product. I know I sometimes tend to do that a little bit, and it's time consuming, it's also tiring, but do a little bit of research, okay? Because sometimes we're like, oh, this is a nice deal, this is a good thing, a good product, I think I need this, okay, let's buy it right now, without having compared a price or the brand or a review or something. So that's just something to keep in mind. Okay, so now you know the 7 hidden desires that drive us as consumers and that marketers prey on constantly. And also how to hopefully take back your power and reclaim your consumption habits a little bit and become a more conscious shopper. By recognizing these triggers, we can make more informed decisions and keep spending the money that we earn for the things that are actually worth it for us. Because spending the money on things that truly matter to ourselves, in my opinion, is something that is very valuable and it's very okay to do. So, yeah. Let me know in the comments below if this resonated with you. Also, let me know if you tried some of those tips. And if those have been working for you, I would really love to know if my videos are having an impact and helping people. And also, I will link a couple other videos here that could interest you. And I see you next time. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. And yeah, see you soon. Bye. Danke. Tschüss.